So obviously there's learning by doing, which is what mooting is all about, just getting in and having a go at it. But then there's also another opportunity online, which is actually practicing some of those techniques in a more focused way and having an advocacy education. And it seems to me that's the gap which Advocacy Club has filled. So perhaps you'd like to tell everybody a little bit more who isn't familiar, what exactly is Advocacy Club?
Absolutely. So the Advocacy Club is slightly different to our competitions in that there isn't that competitive element there. So we have 10 sessions throughout the year, which is always the last Tuesday of the month, with the exception of August and December. Now, each session focuses on a different form of advocacy. So we have a number of sessions that focus on speed mooting. We have a number that focus on general public speaking and presentation skills. We have a session on witness handling. We have a session based on play mitigations, and also a few sessions on debating. Now, as I say, the difference between the Advocacy Club and our competitions is that this is not a competition. As you say, it's a chance to practice. And what happens is we'll send out all of the materials a week before the meeting. And so those who are members of the club have a week or so to prepare the materials. They'll then come along on the night. And what will happen is they get separated into breakout rooms with their peers, and they have the opportunity to practice whatever form of advocacy that might be. So if it's mooting, they get the chance to practice mooting. If it's general presentations, they'll perform presentations in front of their peers. And what will happen is once each member of a specific breakout room has performed, they will then provide feedback to each other. So it's very much peer-to-peer learning. And from the first session that we've held so far, the feedback has been very good. What people have been saying, and the general consensus, is that because people are with their peers and not necessarily lecturers or practitioners, the pressure is really taken off. So people feel much more confident to come along and actually have a go. And because they're practicing with people who may be slightly more or slightly less experienced than them, they're finding real value and finding that they can improve their advocacy skills quite well within the club. Now, we also have a number of members that may want to observe for the first few sessions, and we certainly had that at our first session. A number of members who came along simply to observe, watch what was going on, and try and absorb some of the information that was given, some of the feedback, and people found that really valuable. Yeah. And then what I did at the end of the session was I provided some general feedback as well, and some of my thoughts on the specific type of advocacy that we covered in the session. And I think that people found that really helpful to hear a practitioner's point of view on the advocacy. So I think it really is a good environment, a low pressure, friendly environment for people to practice and improve their advocacy. And it's open to people who've never done any advocacy before, never done any mooting, never been involved in any competition, first time that they've done it. And equally, we have some very, very experienced people in the club as well, people who have gotten to the latter stages of the national speed mooting competition. So we really do have a mixed bag in terms of experience. And I think that that's one of the things that makes the club so valuable.
It's definitely true. I mean, you know, I'm one of those people, as most of my peers watching this will be, who is doing advocacy training in an online world. I have a couple of sessions a week at the moment, practicing various skills, and that's great. But I think for some people, being able to feel like there's other sessions, there's other opportunities there to just develop some of those broader skills of presentation, particularly when it's over online, which is still so alien to me, and I think to a lot of people it's still such a strange dynamic to be doing things online, but just to have some more sessions to reinforce some of those skills is so beneficial. So as you say, there's a space for everybody, from those who, you know, are students just starting out to students on the bar course who are doing advocacy all the time but who want to polish up some of those skills.
Absolutely, and that's the thing with this club. It's open to anyone in terms of what stage you're at the present moment. So we have law undergraduates, we have GDL students, we have postgraduate students, but also we have postgraduates from the bar course and the LPC. And I think that was quite fundamental, because you'll find a lot of people who finish either their LPC or bar course, and they're in the position whereby they might be working as a paralegal or as a county court advocate or whatever it might be, but they're filling the time between finishing the course and starting as a trainee or pupil. And it's very, very difficult to obtain legal advocacy experience in terms of mooting or competitions at that stage. So I thought that this fills the gap, and it allows people to continue to practice. And no matter what stage you're up to, advocacy very much is a perishable skill. The less you do it, the more out of practice you become, if I can phrase it that way. So it really is a skill that you need to be practicing all the time. And because our sessions are so frequent, you're regularly preparing for the club and then turning up at the club, practicing and receiving feedback. So it's not as if you'll have any stage whereby you're falling out of practice.